Alright guys, welcome back to another one. So today we've got something completely mind-blowing to showcase. A Spyro project that inserts Crash Bandicoot as a playable character into Spyro 3, along with all of Crash's familiar objects like crates, Wumpa Fruit, TNT, as well as crystals. This is a childhood dream come true, and is the Crash Purple and Spyro Orange we always wanted. Now at first glance, this looks like Spyro 3, so your immediate assumption here would be that this is simply just a mod for the game. But in actuality, this is a total recreation of the game via Unreal Engine. This has actually been made possible via a custom framework that's been applied to Unreal Engine known as Spaghetti Spyro, which has been created by both qtderg and Bun Baroness. The purpose of this framework is to bring the functionality as well as all assets from the original Spyro trilogy into Unreal Engine so that people familiar with Unreal Engine can create custom Spyro games and levels. And as of right now, there is a ton of different custom Spyro games and levels that exist that have been created using this method, which is insane because up until a couple of days ago, I didn't even know this thing even existed. The Spyro community, at least looking at the retro PlayStation 1 based games, are incredibly dedicated. So considering that this is technically not Spyro 3, it's kind of crazy to think about how well the Spaghetti Spyro framework functions, because the feeling of actually playing the game and its physics are so close, almost one-to-one, as to how it feels to play the original Spyro trilogy on PlayStation 1. There are definitely some noticeable differences, but for the most part it does feel very close. I think a large contributor to some things feeling a little bit different is the fact that we're now playing the game at a much higher frame rate, 120 frames per second. Right now, there is currently an ongoing effort to recreate the original PlayStation 1 trilogy within the Spaghetti Spyro framework, which means that you'll get all of the benefits that come along with developing the game on Unreal Engine, mainly looking at both mod support, but also additional features and graphic settings. Here in this project, we can see an example of this, being able to run the game at multiple different resolutions, higher frame rates. We can also mimic the PlayStation style of visuals with PSI warble, enabling or disabling distance fade, both dithering and pixelation, changing button icons or the resolution of font. And it's kind of crazy because as of right now, both recompilations and decompilations are all the rage, basically having these unofficial PC ports where a team of people have reverse engineered the code of a bunch of older console exclusive games that have made a PC version. But this thing right here is neither of those. This is simply a complete recreation of Spyro. Both methods are incredibly impressive in their own right, but this thing right here takes some special kudos from me personally. So what exactly is this specific Spyro project here? Well, I can't tell you the official name of this. All I know is that the file name is known as Sprash Co-op, an amalgamation of both Spyro and Crash, because that's kind of what this is. As I said, all the Crash objects have been inserted into the game, so not only do we have all of the exact placements of the gems where they should be, as well as the dragon eggs, but we've also got Wumpa Fruit and crates littered absolutely everywhere. This means that the levels in Spyro 3 can be completed using Crash, but there's now also new major collectibles as well. So Crash Bandicoot's purple crystals are hidden in each level. There is also the grey gem upon breaking every single crate in a level, and it also looks like colored gems are here, though upon exploring every single nook and cranny of the levels I got to in this build of the game, I couldn't for the life of me find the colored gem. I'm assuming that they just simply haven't been added in just yet. Additionally, there is now a special butterfly collectible upon breaking all of the butterfly jars in a level 2. It's insane how well this has been put together, but also at the same time too, there's this uncanny feeling of going through these familiar Spyro levels as Crash Bandicoot, collecting gems, taking out Rhinox, but also collecting Wumpa Fruit and either breaking or jumping on top of crates as Spyro. And by the way, as we know, Crash Bandicoot cannot swim, so any water that you come across in a level, don't jump into it as the Bandicoot. This boy will drown. Side note, I like how you enter into levels. We've literally got Crash riding on the back of Spyro. Though sometimes you can get stuck as this weird Bandicoot dragon Frankenstein, so to fix this, just simply switch character. We know that both Crash and Spyro have had this long ongoing connection due to the, I guess, friendly rivalry and relationship between Insomniac and Naughty Dog initially. Once both Crash and Spyro kinda left the grasps of both of their original studios, more concrete cameos and references were made between the two characters, especially if we look at their crossover games like Skylanders, Crash Purple, or Spyro Orange. But to actually have the PlayStation 1 iterations of these characters finally meeting each other in the same game is honestly the stuff of dreams that I used to envision as a small child, and finally, it's a reality. Now this is a demo version, meaning that right now there is only 3 levels: Sunrise Spring, Sunny Villa, and Sheila's Alp. I'm unsure what qtderg's intention with this project is, if it's more of a proof of concept to show what's possible using Spaghetti Spyro's framework, or if they truly intend to recreate the entirety of Spyro 3 with all of its levels, all of its boss fights, but with some Crash Bandicoot flavor thrown into the mix. I'm gonna assume that it's the latter, only because qtderg is involved with the trilogy recreation project. The Spaghetti Spyro framework though is still very much a work in progress. Not absolutely everything from the original trilogy is currently functional. Like for instance right now they are trying to find someone who can figure out how to get the skateboarding framework from Spyro 3 to function properly within Spaghetti Spyro. So here, if we go to Sunny Villa and go into the skateboarding minigame, you'll notice that there is a little pop-up mentioning that right now skateboarding is not functional within the framework. So if you're familiar with Unreal Engine and you believe you might be able to assist with this, I'll leave the link to the Mod the Dragon Discord server in the description down below. There's also a bunch of additional options which gives you a really good example of what other extra stuff can be added into the original trilogy, like skins for example. There's a plethora of new skins for Spyro, some of which need to be unlocked via completions or collectibles in the game. There's even a few skins for Sparks as well. You can toggle the look of treasures between the Spyro 1 version and Spyro 2 and 3 versions. There's also a cheat section that can provide stuff like 99 lives, unlock all levels, Superfly, invincibility, level warp. There's even adventure settings, which allows you to customize some of Spyro's functionality. And to put a cherry on top of the cake, there is even a photo mode here. But the big shiny golden goose feature here is multiplayer, because yes, you can play this in co-op up to 4 players. This can be done locally with multiple controllers plugged into a PC or online via Parsec. And yeah, there's definitely something incredibly special running around as both Crash and Spyro, completing levels and collecting all of the collectibles together. Do note that there's also friendly fire here, so for instance, if you're Spyro and you flame Crash, he's gonna pull out his classic chromation animation. There's a button toggle to be able to switch between the playable characters on the fly, and even Coco is playable here, though still sporting the exact same moveset as Crash. I'm gonna whip out the word flabbergasted, because this is the sort of nonsense you would discuss with a group of friends out in the schoolyard, explaining this idea to young Benjamin. Dude, how cool would it be if we had Spyro, but Crash Bandicoot was playable within Spyro, but there are also like Crash Bandicoot crystals, crates, and Wumper fruits. And look at this, 2026, here we are, this is very much a reality, all because one person thought to themselves, yeah, this would be cool. Let's just do it. I don't know, man. I see this stuff a lot in specific gaming communities. There are some absolute wizards out there. This demo also comes with a completely custom level known as Scarab Sanctuary, which actually released before the release of the Crash and Spyro co-op. But again, you can play as Crash Bandicoot in this level and also jump into co-op. This can be selected when you boot up the game, picking between which adventure you want to jump into. It's a pretty wide open Egyptian themed level. There's even a warp portal in this level that sends you to a Crash 3 themed Egyptian level. It's insane. This provides a really good example of what the folks in the Spyro community are currently cooking up with custom content. So if you want to play this for yourself and maybe jump into a little bit of Spyro 3 with a friend, I'll leave the download link in the description down below. massive shout out to the folks that are currently working on the Spaghetti Spyro framework, along with qtderg for putting this together. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. Be sure to slippity slap that like button and subscribe to keep up with all the antics going on here. As always, a big thanks to my wonderful patrons and YouTube members for supporting the channel. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and we'll chat again real soon.